If World War III happens, gold may not help you survive the first days. In a major crisis, real value is not always found in expensive things. Today, I will tell you about 12 very cheap items that you can easily find in stores today. But when systems begin to break down, those small items can become things that people are willing to trade for food, drinking water, or other important resources. Not because they are rare, but because they solve the most basic survival needs of humans: fire, light, information, clean water, and health. In a normal world, they are just small household items, but in a world in crisis, they can become a real form of assets. And especially, the seventh item on this list is something many people only realize the value of when the medical system begins to become overwhelmed. A small item that can help reduce pain, lower fever, and keep the body functioning when there is no doctor nearby. Let's start with the first item, 12. Lighter when missiles fall on a city, when the power grid collapses, when stores begin to fill with crowds and people realize that normal life may not return soon. There is a small item that often disappears from store shelves faster than almost anything else. In those moments, money in a bank account does not help you drink water, but a small lighter can. In normal life, a lighter is almost invisible. It is just a small object sitting somewhere in a drawer. People use it to light candles, start a stove, or sometimes light a cigarette. But when electricity disappears, electric stoves stop working and nighttime temperatures begin to drop. The real value of a lighter starts to become clear. Fire allows you to cook food when electrical devices no longer work. Fire helps you boil water to kill bacteria. In cold conditions, fire helps keep you warm and prevent the risk of hypothermia. In other words, fire turns raw resources into something that can help you survive. What makes a lighter special is its remarkable efficiency. A small compact lighter can create hundreds, even thousands of flames before it runs out of fuel. With just a few cheap lighters, you can have a reliable source of fire for many weeks or longer. Many people believe they can start a fire by rubbing wood together or using flint. Those methods exist, but they require skill, time, and the right environmental conditions. When the air is damp, when the wind is strong, or when you are under stress in an emergency situation, starting a fire manually can become extremely difficult. That is why in many major disasters, lighters are often one of the items that disappear from stores within the first few hours. In a scarce environment, the value of an object does not lie in its price, but in the survival need it solves. A few dollar lighter today can become something that helps you cook food, boil water, stay warm, or even trade for food, drinking water, or other essential items. In the normal world, a lighter is just a small convenience. But in a world in crisis, the person who controls fire is often the person who holds the first advantage, and the lighter is only the beginning. Would you choose to stockpile lighters or matches? Why? 11. Batteries. When situations become chaotic, one of the first things to disappear is not expensive electronics, but the energy source that allows them to operate. When the power grid is disrupted, modern life almost comes to a halt. There is no stable lighting, no charging devices, and many familiar tools suddenly become useless. At that moment, small batteries begin to become extremely important. Batteries are the power source for many essential devices in emergency situations. Flashlights help you move safely in the dark when an entire area loses power. Emergency radios allow you to hear announcements from authorities, follow weather conditions, or receive important updates when the internet and phones are no longer stable. Some personal medical devices, such as glucose meters, electronic thermometers, or other support devices, also depend on batteries to operate. In a normal environment, we rarely think about batteries as an important resource, but when electricity is gone, batteries become the only portable source of energy for many necessary devices. A common mistake is that many people keep only a few batteries in the house and assume that is enough. But in a crisis, batteries are often one of the fastest items to run out on store shelves. When people realize that they need light to move at night, need radios to hear information, and need power for small devices, battery packs begin to disappear from stores in a very short time. What is notable is that a small pack of batteries can provide a very large value. Just a few batteries can provide many hours of light from a flashlight, or many days of listening to an emergency radio. In an environment with prolonged power shortages, the ability to maintain light and information can help you keep a major advantage over those around you. Therefore, in a barter economy, when electricity becomes scarce, batteries are not only a convenient item, they can become an extremely valuable form of portable energy, something that many people are willing to trade for food, drinking water, or other essential supplies. If the power goes out for many days, what small item in your home do you think would become the most valuable? 10. Flashlight. When the power goes out completely, the first thing many people notice is not that they lost the internet or television. The thing they notice immediately is the darkness. Within just a few minutes after a widespread power outage, an entire neighborhood can sink into darkness. There are no streetlights, no light from windows, and familiar houses suddenly become pitch black. In those conditions, very simple tasks become difficult. Finding an item in the kitchen, going down the stairs, checking the doors, or moving around the house can all become dangerous if you cannot clearly see your surroundings. That is when a small flashlight becomes one of the most useful tools you can have. A flashlight helps you restore light immediately. You can illuminate the path while moving, find necessary items, or check areas in the house when everything around you is dark. A common mistake is that many people only have one flashlight in the house. In normal life, that may be enough. But in a prolonged crisis, when electricity can be out for many hours or many days, each member of the family may need their own light source to move safely. That is why when widespread power outages occur, flashlights are often one of the items that disappear from stores very quickly. When darkness covers everything, the demand for light immediately becomes urgent. A small flashlight may not be worth much in peacetime, but in an environment without electricity, the ability to carry light with you can help you work, move, and stay safe, while others are forced to feel their way through the dark. In the normal world, a flashlight is just a convenience. But when everything sinks into darkness, light can become one of the most valuable resources. And the next item on this list is related to something even more important than light: the ability to create safe drinking water. 9. Water filter. When normal systems begin to collapse, many people immediately think about stockpiling food. But the reality of survival is very simple. Humans can live for many weeks without eating, but only a few days without clean water. Water is the most basic need of the body. And in war, natural disasters, or when infrastructure systems are disrupted, the familiar water source in your home may no longer be as safe as before. Pipes can be damaged. Water treatment systems can stop operating. Water from rivers, lakes, or ponds can be contaminated by bacteria, parasites, or other impurities. In situations like this, finding water is not the biggest problem. The real problem is making that water safe to drink. That is when a small water filter can become one of the most important survival tools. A personal water filter can turn water from many different sources, such as rainwater, stream water, or river water, into safer drinking water. With just one compact device, you can access a continuous water source instead of depending only on the amount of water stored in your home. A common mistake is that many people only think about stockpiling bottled water. That may help you in the first few days. But if the crisis lasts longer than expected, the stored water will eventually run out. Meanwhile, a water filter allows you to create your own drinking water from the surrounding environment. This makes it one of the most valuable long-term survival tools. That is why, in an environment where clean water is scarce, a water filter is not just a convenient device. It can become one of the most valuable barter items because clean water is something everyone needs every day. In the normal world, a water filter is just an outdoor device. But in a world in crisis, the ability to turn dirty water into drinking water can become an extremely powerful survival advantage. And the next item on this list is even much cheaper, but it helps solve a problem that almost every family will face very quickly. Food preservation. 8. Salt. In the modern world, salt is something almost everyone has in the kitchen. It is cheap, easy to buy, and is often seen as just a simple seasoning. But looking back at history, salt once had so much value that it was used as a form of currency in many ancient civilizations. There were famous trade routes dedicated only to transporting salt, and in some periods people even used salt to pay soldiers. The reason is very simple. Salt helps humans preserve food. Before refrigerators and cooling systems existed, salt was one of the most important tools to keep food from spoiling. When used properly, salt can inhibit the growth of bacteria, slow the process of decomposition, and allow meat, fish, or some other foods to be preserved longer. In the first days of a disaster, this becomes extremely important. Imagine you have a source of food, for example meat or fish, but no electricity, no refrigerator, and no way to preserve it. Under normal conditions, that food could spoil in just 1 or 2 days. But with salt, that time can be extended for many more days, even many weeks, depending on how it is used. A common mistake is that many people only see salt as something to season food. But in a survival environment, salt has another role that is just as important, helping the body maintain electrolyte balance. When the body loses water, sweats heavily, or operates under stressful conditions, salt helps support the basic functions of the nervous system and muscles. This makes salt something that not only helps preserve food, but also supports the health of the body in difficult conditions. A small bag of salt today may only be worth a few dollars. But in a world where food needs to be kept longer and supply is no longer stable, a simple bag of salt can become one of the most valuable barter items. In peacetime, salt is just seasoning on the table. But in times of crisis, salt can be the thing that turns perishable food into a food supply that prolongs survival. 7. Pain relievers in normal life. A pain relief pill is something you take and almost forget right after. But in a major crisis, a small pill can become extremely valuable. Common medicines such as paracetamol or ibuprofen are often used to reduce pain, lower fever, and help the body recover from inflammation or fatigue. Under normal conditions, they are available in almost every pharmacy and nearly anyone can buy them. But in war or major disasters, everything changes very quickly. Accidents, injuries, fever, or body aches become more common when people have to move frequently, do heavy work, or live under stressful conditions. Meanwhile, the medical system is often overwhelmed or disrupted, making access to medicine much more difficult. A common mistake is that many people do not think about storing these basic medicines. They often think only about food or drinking water, but forget that health and the ability to tolerate pain are also important factors for survival. A prolonged fever, a severe headache, or muscle pain after many stressful days can seriously reduce a person's ability to function. But with just a few simple pain relief pills, those symptoms can be controlled, giving the body time to rest and recover. A small box of medicine takes up very little space, but it can help many people get through difficult days. That is why, in an environment where medicine is scarce, these basic medications are not only valuable to the person using them, they can also become one of the most commonly traded items because almost everyone may need them at some point. In peacetime, a pain relief pill may only be worth a few cents, but in a world where medical care is no longer easy to access, the ability to help someone reduce pain can become a very large value. If you had to choose only 3 small items to keep in your home during a long power outage, what would you choose? 6. Cloth tape. Among cheap but extremely useful items, cloth tape, or duct tape, almost always appears on every survival list. It is simple, light, cheap, but it can solve dozens of different problems in just a few minutes. Duct tape is designed to be very strong, durable, and able to stick to many different surfaces. In a crisis situation, when you do not have enough repair tools, the ability to fix things quickly can save a lot of resources. For example, a broken window can be temporarily taped to block wind and dust. A torn backpack can be patched to continue using it. A loose device can be secured again with just a few wraps of tape. A common mistake is that many people think tape is only used for small repairs in the house. But in a survival environment, the ability to make temporary repairs is sometimes more important than completely replacing something. A roll of tape can help you extend the lifespan of many different items, and in a world where stores are no longer open and supplies are disrupted, that becomes extremely important. One viewer left a very interesting comment under a video about this topic. He said, "Duct tape is something that I always carry when I go camping. One small roll helped me repair a tent, patch shoes, and even secure a broken flashlight." This comment shows something very simple. Sometimes the smallest items solve the most problems. A roll of cloth tape today may only be worth a few dollars. But in an environment where tools and supplies are scarce, the ability to quickly repair almost anything can become a major advantage. 5. Wet wipes. When society enters a period of instability, clean water is usually prioritized for drinking and cooking. That means familiar activities like daily bathing can become very difficult. This is when wet wipes become an extremely useful item. A small pack of wet wipes can help you clean your hands, wipe your face, or maintain basic hygiene when there is no water. This may sound simple, but in a survival environment, personal hygiene plays a very important role in preventing illness and infection. A common mistake is that many people only focus on stockpiling food or drinking water, but forget that bacteria and disease can spread quickly in unsanitary conditions. A story often mentioned in war zones shows this very clearly. In an evacuation area, the supply of clean water was very limited, and most people had to use water mainly for drinking. One volunteer said that packs of wet wipes became one of the most frequently requested items, not because they were luxurious, but because they helped people maintain a sense of cleanliness and reduce the risk of infection when living conditions became crowded and harsh. With just a few wet wipes, a person can clean their hands before eating, wipe dirt from the skin, or maintain basic hygiene for many days. This can significantly reduce the risk of illness, a very important factor when the medical system is no longer easy to access. A pack of wet wipes today may just be a convenient item in a bag. But in an environment with limited water and poor sanitation conditions, it can become a highly sought-after item. This channel shares practical preparedness strategies and small items that can create a big difference. Subscribe now to always stay one step ahead. 4. Seeds. Most people, when thinking about a crisis, usually think immediately about canned food. That is completely reasonable. Canned food can help you get through the first days or even a few weeks when supply chains are disrupted. But stored food has one very clear weakness. It will gradually run out over time. That is why in prolonged crises, the thing that truly has value is not only food, but the ability to create new food. And that is exactly when seeds become extremely important. A small packet of seeds may look very simple. It is light, cheap, and takes almost no storage space. But inside that small packet lies the potential for many future harvests. With just a few basic types of seeds, such as vegetables, beans, or tomatoes, a small garden can begin to provide fresh food after a short period of time. And when the first plants mature, they continue to produce more seeds for the next harvests. A common mistake is that many people only think about storing ready-made food. But in prolonged crises, the ability to grow your own food can become one of the greatest advantages. A small packet of seeds today may only be worth a few dollars. But in a world where food supply is no longer stable, the ability to grow food from the soil can become a real form of assets. And when it comes to survival, food is not the only important thing. You also need simple but reliable tools to handle dozens of different tasks every day. That is when the next item on this list becomes extremely useful. 3. Multi-purpose knife. In most survival lists around the world, there is one tool that almost always appears. Not because it is complicated or expensive, but because it can do many different tasks. That tool is the multi-purpose knife. A good knife can be used to cut rope, prepare food, open cans, repair items, or handle small daily tasks. In a survival environment, simple tasks like these appear constantly. When you need to cut a piece of rope, prepare a meal, carve a branch, or fix a small device, a reliable knife can solve the problem immediately. A common mistake is that many people do not think about owning a quality knife at home. They may have many different tools, but still lack a simple tool that can handle many different situations. In reality, many people who survive in harsh conditions often say that a good knife is one of the most important tools they carry. Unlike many consumable items, a durable knife can be used for many years. As long as it is maintained and sharpened properly, it can continue to work in countless different situations. A multi-purpose knife today may just be a small tool in your pocket. But in a world where you must solve problems on your own, a simple but reliable tool can make a very big difference. And the next item on this list is related to something that almost everyone needs every day. But very few people think about preparing in advance. The ability to create heat and cook when everything around you no longer works normally. 2. Soap in most major crises in history. Many people did not die because of a lack of food or drinking water. They died from disease and infection. And the surprising thing is that sometimes something as simple as soap can help prevent many of those problems. Soap is one of the most basic hygiene tools humans use. It helps remove bacteria, clean hands, and reduce the risk of spreading disease. In normal life, we use it every day and almost never think much about its value. But in a crisis environment, where many people have to live close together, water is limited and the medical system is disrupted, personal hygiene becomes extremely important. A common mistake is that many people focus completely on food and drinking water, but forget that disease can spread much faster in unsanitary conditions. A small wound that is not cleaned properly can become serious. An illness spreading in a crowded community can affect many people in a short time. With just a small bar of soap, you can wash your hands before eating, clean dirt, or maintain basic hygiene in difficult conditions. This not only helps protect personal health, but also helps reduce the risk of infection in the surrounding community. A bar of soap today may just be a normal item in the bathroom, but in a world where disease can spread quickly and medicine becomes scarce, the ability to maintain basic hygiene can become a survival advantage. And the final item on this list may be one of the cheapest things, but it can carry unexpected value in a prolonged crisis. One matches in a modern world. Creating fire is almost too easy. We only need to flick a lighter or press a button on a gas stove. But when electricity, gas, or familiar utilities no longer work, the ability to create fire becomes an extremely important skill and resource. That is why a simple pack of matches holds the final position on this list. Fire provides many survival benefits. It helps you cook food, boil water to kill bacteria, stay warm in cold weather, and even send signals when rescue is needed. A common mistake is that many people think they can start a fire using complex survival methods, such as rubbing wood together or using flint. In reality, those methods require a lot of skill and the right conditions. Meanwhile, a small pack of matches can create fire immediately. A matchbox can contain dozens of matches, enough to start many different fires when needed. It is small, light, and can easily be carried or stored for many years. In a world where fire becomes essential for survival, simple matches can become extremely valuable. Today, a box of matches may only be worth a few cents. But in an environment where creating fire is no longer easy, a small match can sometimes be worth more than many expensive items. And that is also the main idea of this list. In peacetime, many small items around us may seem ordinary. But in a major crisis, those simple items can become the most valuable things. So the final question for you is, what cheap item would you add to this list? The items on this list are not luxury goods. Most of them are very cheap and very easy to find in everyday life. But history shows that in times of crisis, the simplest items often become the most valuable. Fire for cooking, light when the power is cut, clean water to drink, information to know what is happening. These are the basic needs that humans always require in every situation. Preparing in advance does not mean you hope something bad will happen. It simply means you do not want to be surprised when things change too quickly. Now I want to ask you a question. In this list, which item do you think will disappear from stores first if a major crisis happens? Share your thoughts in the comments.